Good morning, everybody. I'm going to try to do a little eye video here. So if you can't see me, that's fine. I want you to see this to begin with. Um, I wanted to show a little bit of difference. This is the eye with the corneal bulge. This part kind of rolls up, goes flat, and then comes back down. This is forward, okay? Um, this one's just basically like a circle cut in half. There's no bulge. I use the corneal bulge eyes, Champion's Choice, um, Legacy eyes. I'm not going to go into eye rotation, but whatever you do is you got to make sure that your mannequin's level, okay? If you were doing a competition piece and you were doing some crazy turn, something like that, you got to level the eyes the way it's going to be on your presentation. For a shoulder mount, make sure it's level, and I level the pupil to the floor. Okay, so this is my front part of my pupil, my back part. The upper part where you want to make your turn is right here at the beginning of the pupil. Okay, and then the back, your lowest part of your lower lid is going to be in the middle of the pupil or towards the back of the pupil. Okay, so our highest point is going to be here at the front of the pupil. That is all the clay that I use to do an eye. And this is a Hobby Lobby reusable clay. You can get this and just practice. And what I like to do is I like to have this filled out at the lower part and upper part of my eye. And I'll explain when I go to kind of put this on. I'll pack it in and make sure I don't want a big concave area. And then from the front, I like to have my front where it's kind of just filling out the mannequin. I struggle with this upper turn on most of my eyes. And that's just because of the way the mannequin is and stuff like that. All right, so I'll start off a small piece of clay, roll. I roll it out about like that. I flatten my clay. And then what you can do is you come up here, I'll start right in here, I'll come down, I'll hit my lowest point, and I'll start going back up. Sometimes I'll round the back, just kind of depends on how I'm feeling that day. But I'll kind of get that, touch it to the glass, and I'm going to start my turn and come up, okay? The upper lid, when it comes down, you want it to be just a little bit higher than your front corner. Okay, and then I'll take this and I'll start feathering into the mannequin. You can take a brush and come in here and really kind of maybe tune up your lower lid a little bit. And what I like to try to do is right there to the chronicle, if you're up northwest of Tuscaloosa, it'd be the corn knuckles, whatever you want to call that. My upper one, I'll kind of do the same way. A little bit smaller than a pencil, and I'll flatten it out. And what I like to do is I like to start my front corner, I like to start it just above the chronicle. And what I like to try to do is come like right in here. And when I get right there, I want to start I kind of let it fall on the glass, go back to the back. And then what I like to do is sometimes, like I said, I struggle with this front corner. And what I'll do is I'll take and I'll sometimes push my clay going that way. And I'll pinch it off in the back. And then what I'm going to do is roll that in and blend it into that bulge. But to get good at eyes, you really got to practice. I've got a change out head by my chair at the house. You can get this at Hobby Lobby, this reusable clay, and play around with it. Just keep doing it until you get it kind of the way you want it. I like to be able to look from the front. The number one problem that people have is they put too much clay. They use way too much clay. It doesn't take a whole lot of clay. And I'm going to fill this in here in a minute. I'm just kind of, and there's so many different ways you can do it. You can take this and come down and hook back and have a nice little curl at the back of the eye. It's whatever your preference is. This eye right here it's open way too much for me. Like I said, I don't care what anybody tells you. Critter clay will shrink. And you get an eye and you have it kind of open, and then all of a sudden, it shrinks up a little bit, and then you got a really open eye. So what I'm doing here is I'm just filling this little gap. The way I do my lid is the same way I do the top. I'll roll it out about like that. I'll flatten it out. And what I like to do is I like to come right here off of this turn. And that's where I like to lay my clay for my eyebrow or my eye crease. Some people don't do it until they got it on, but I just like to do this because I feel like it sets my upper slope, because I don't want to be no more thicker than what I have this, if you under kind of, and then I'll roll that in, and then I'll start blending this in that way.